Hi, in this video, I'm going to show you how to resolve a issue when you launch the Church BookKeeper application. You'll see this message, SQL not found, unable to find the SQL database service. Um, this is the second video in a series on resolving unable to connect to database. And so if you have an older version of Church BookKeeper and you've had to reinstall it on a new computer or something, you may have a more generic message that simply says unable to connect to database. So if you don't have this specific message displayed, unable to connect to SQL database service, then make sure that you've checked out the first video in this series to rule out that issue before moving on to this step. So um, if I click OK, it will go ahead and load the Church BookKeeper app and take me to the main screen. But as you can see, all of the icons are disabled, and the only thing I can access is the BookKeeper menu and the Help menu. And in red at the bottom, it says Unable to connect to database. If I click on the Get Help link, then it will display the troubleshooting guide on how to resolve this. And as you can see, the first thing to check is that the SQL services are running. And this video is going to show the next thing to check. You can also find these instructions at the MudPie website. And so if you launch your internet browser and type in MudPie Creations, then go to the support page of our website. Make sure that the Church BookKeeper tab is selected, and here you see Unable to connect to database. If you click here, then it will bring up the troubleshooting guide, and this is always the most current version of this guide. So the first thing to check, if you followed along and you got the generic message, you would be instructed to look for SQL Server MPC in the services, Windows services. So if you did not find that service in the list, then this video is for you. Or, like I said, if you saw that specific message about unable to find SQL, then also this video will help you resolve that issue. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to install SQL manually because for whatever reason during the Church BookKeeper installation, it didn't get set up properly. So you have either purchased Church BookKeeper on a CD or as a download. So if you purchased it as a CD, then launch the File Explorer window for Windows and navigate to your DVD or CD-ROM drive and put in the Church BookKeeper CD. So then if you if you browse the contents of that CD, you'll find a tools folder there. So you'll just click on that, and that's contains the file that we're going to run. So if you purchase the software as a download, then you don't need to re-download the software or try to find it on a USB drive or backup where you may have put it for safekeeping. All of the files should already be on your computer. So just go to a Windows Explorer window and then go to your local C drive. Find a folder called Program Files x86, and then there is a folder called Setup BookKeeper. So double click on that, and then this looks exactly like the contents of the CD if you were to purchase the software on a CD. So you click on the Tools folder, and in there you will find an Install SQL file, and the type of the file is a Windows batch file. Okay, so we're going to click on that file, double click, and it will bring up a black command window. Make sure you don't close this window. It's going to stay open through these steps, and it will automatically close when it's finished. Okay, so next you'll be asked if you would like to make changes to your PC for SQL Server 2014. and you'll say yes. And then press the OK button, and that will extract all of the install files for SQL. Okay, now that the files have extracted, the SQL Server install wizard will be displayed. So this very first license screen, you're going to check the I accept the license terms box. And this is going to be the only thing that you check or change during the install. That's very important um, that you not make any changes to any of the selections or settings that will already be filled in for you on all the subsequent screens. So press the next button, and it's going to check that all the prerequisites um, are met. And so if there was an issue, if you're missing something that needs to be installed, or maybe you need to reboot your computer, then on that screen it will show um, what what is missing or what needs to be done. And so just read the instructions, and if you need any help, please contact MudPie support. You can go to the support page of the website, or you can email support@mudpiecreations.com and let them know the exact message that's displayed on that screen so that they can help you resolve. So um, nothing was found as a problem with continuing on with the install here, so we're going to press the next button. Okay, and then that was another rule check, and so during the install rules, also if there was any issues that it found, it would have stopped. It would not have moved on to this screen, and it would show a message about what is the issue and what needs to be resolved first. So be sure and let MudPie technical support know what that message is exactly. Okay, so there were no issues found here, so we're going to not make any changes to the screen. That's very important. We're just going to press the next button. Okay, again, we're not going to change the named instance. We're going to keep it as MPC. We're just going to press the next button. Okay, again, no changes. Press next. Okay, many people, they are security minded and they feel like they need to change this password. Um, but unless you want to go through the steps on the third video series of the series, then please do not change this password. It's very important that you keep everything just as it is and only press the next button. Because if any changes are made on any of these screens, then the Church Bookkeeper application won't be able to connect. Okay, so it's now starting the installation progress, and it's going to run through. There's a progress bar that will show um, its status, and this takes a few minutes, so I'm going to speed this process up until it gets to the end. Okay, a few minutes have transpired, and as you can see, the SQL install is finally completed. And the status, it says succeeded all the way down, so everything's good. So we're going to now press the close button, and that will also cause the black command window to also close on its own. Okay, so there's one final step now to finish setting up the database for Church BookKeeper, and we need to reinstall Church BookKeeper, run the install one more time. So whether you purchase the software on CD or as a download, to get to the BookKeeper install, you just need to go up one level to the Setup BookKeeper folder. So you can press this back arrow button here, and that brings you up one level from the Tools folder that we were in, and look for a file called Setup. And so it'll have a blue icon, and also the type will be application. As you can see, there's some other files also called setup, but there's only one that says application. So we're going to double click on that, and that will launch the Church BookKeeper install. It'll ask if you want to allow it to make changes and say yes. And the Church BookKeeper install wizard is displayed. So make sure that the repair option is selected and then press the next button. So this will quickly run through the install. It doesn't take as long as it did the first time you installed. And the main thing that it's doing is it's going to configure the database for you for the first time use. Okay, and now it says maintenance complete. So I'm going to press the finish button. And now if we launch Church BookKeeper, everything should run as expected. Okay, and as you can see, the main window is displayed and all of the icons are now available.